Hi there, John Farahmand, the President and CEO here at Balance Physical Therapy and Human Performance Center. I got the idea for this video because recently we've had a lot of younger athletes, high school, junior college athletes coming into the clinic with some pretty devastating injuries and even some post-surgical courses. And I do not like to see a 15-year-old boy who has to go have back surgery because he got injured in his high school weight room. It infuriates me, okay? As I'm sure it does most other physical therapists out there watching this video, strength coaches, etc. People who really know what they're doing when it comes to conditioning athletic populations. And I'm gonna start this video with a little bit of a controversial statement. For those of you who know where I'm going with this, it's not controversial, but for some of you it may be, and that is this. All athletes need the same things. All athletes need the same things. Now, things, what are you talking about, John? Things? Yeah, let me talk to you about it. I'm gonna write them up on the board, and I'm gonna talk about them. Strength, okay, simple. The ability to overcome resistance, okay? Periodized strength training, double progression, for example, okay? In increasing your weight and your reps, okay, incrementally in a very slow, controlled, methodical, planned out, journaled way or fashion, okay? So that you're not jumping weights too quickly, you're not getting into these ridiculous rep ranges, etc. Simple, the ability to overcome resistance, okay? Power. A lot of people think these are the same things. They're actually not, okay? I'll give you an example in a second. Power. The ability to overcome resistance in the shortest amount of time possible, okay? Have you ever seen anyone under, I don't know, 225 or 315 pounds in a barbell squat rack doing reps super, super fast? If you have, you know, they're out of their mind, okay? But no, you haven't. You go to a gym, okay, and you see somebody under a load like that, they're doing their reps very smooth, very controlled, paying very strict attention to their form to build strength. Why? Because if they go too fast, they're going to get hurt bad, okay? Strength. Power, think of clean and jerk, okay? Imagine that same 315 pounds on a barbell sitting on the floor, and you got to put it over your head. Are you kidding me? There are lots of people that do that sort of thing. That's power, okay? That is moving a massive amount of resistance, okay, over a distance in the shortest amount of time possible. And just when I talk about powerlifting or conditioning for power, I like to go boom, you know, when I'm talking to people because it's just fast and it's crazy power. Of course, you have to have this to generate that, but the way that you train for those things is a little bit different, okay? Next, all athletes need, or all athletes would benefit from having more speed, okay? Speed, distance over time, okay? Covering the maximum amount of distance in the shortest amount of time, right? And there are very effective ways to train for speed, okay? I think it would be very difficult for anyone out there to argue that any athlete, okay, couldn't or wouldn't benefit from these three things and that they're not equally important for every athlete out there, okay? Next, agility. What is that? Agility is the ability to change directions rapidly, okay? Course correct. You know, one of the highlights for me is watching an elite level running back, okay, taking the ball, looking down the field of all of these defenders coming in to crush him, and he just picks them apart by agility, by being so agile with his head, his body movements, and his ability to switch directions in a split second with maximum power, maximum speed, maximum efficiency and effectiveness. That is agility, and man, is it a joy to watch when you see an unbelievably agile athlete, okay? It is awesome. Next, I'm running out of room here, but hopefully you can still see that. Flexibility. Flexibility, we all know what flexibility is, right? It's the ability of our joint structures, of our tissues, our tendons, ligamentous structures, joint capsules, etc., to allow maximum movement, okay, in a particular plane of motion. And the more flexibility you have, the more strength and power you're able to generate, okay, or so over distance as the muscles shorten. But for me as a therapist, the more important part of flexibility is you're much less likely to get injured, okay, during an athletic event, particularly during a competition, if you, in general, have a more flexible body. I'm not talking about connective tissue disorders. I'm not talking about, lax joints because of a prior ligamentous injury, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just talking about good old-fashioned musculoskeletal flexibility, okay? Next, endurance. I'm not sure if most people think about this, but when most folks think about endurance, they think of marathon runners, I think. That's just kind of where their mind goes to. I think of marathon runners, I think of ultra-marathon runners, I think of cyclists that are just, their legs never stop for 120 plus miles. I mean, that is incredible endurance. Cardiovascular capacity, pulmonary capacity, cardiac output, etc., oxygen delivery, all of these systems. Think of a swimmer, an elite swimmer, okay? I mean, have you ever tried to get in a pool, as an example, and swim as fast as you can for 30 laps nonstop? Me personally, I'd die. I would drown. That is incredible endurance and cardiovascular, cardiopulmonary capacity. It is awesome, okay? Every athlete can benefit from having more endurance, I would argue. And then lastly, I'm going to lump these last two. Hopefully you can still see this. Coordination and balance. Well, what in the heck is that? Coordination and balance is the ability to synthesize all of our systems to create a complex movement pattern, okay? Here's one that comes to mind. Think of an elite level professional or collegiate baseball pitcher. I'm not sure if those of you watching have any idea how incredibly complex throwing a baseball 100 miles an hour and getting it to land exactly in a glove in a space that big, okay? It is incredible. From the planning, the accessing the motor plan at the level of the cerebellum, all of the coordinated movements that combine to produce this unbelievable pitch that can either go in a straight line or can take a little trip or can curve, etc. It's unbelievable. Or an elite level soccer player who can score on a corner kick. Are you kidding me? I mean, they can kick that ball and literally make it, do a semicircle and land inside of the net from over alongside the net. Coordination and balance, they are so important to create coordinated movement patterns that take advantage of all of these things that we talked about previously. So for all athletes, for all strength and conditioning coaches out there, for all physical therapists out there, for all high school athletic coaches out there, for parents. I'm a parent. I've got 3 children, they're all athletes, okay? Every athlete needs these things. And if they're not being addressed in some form or fashion, okay, then that particular athlete is probably being done a disservice, okay? I would encourage everyone to learn about these concepts and to learn how they can be synthesized into a really well thought out training and conditioning program for a particular athlete or set of athletes. Hopefully you got something from this. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. It is my pleasure and my honor to serve our community here on the Monterey Peninsula in Monterey County. Thank you so much. We hope to see you in the clinic. Take care.